Okay, so we're gonna look at the sweep command again. So maybe you're trying to show a water pipe that runs up your wall, or you're trying to show a duct that goes through your room or something. The sweep command is one way to do it. So what you need to do is you need to define a curve that it's going to follow. So let's say it's this curve, and in 3D space it has a bit of movement to it. And then the second thing you need to define is the profile of that curve. So if it's a heating duct, if it's a pipe, if it's, I'm not sure, whatever you want it to be. If it's, let's say you're trying to do a little flower that sits in the vase, and this is the stem that it's on. So maybe the bottom of the stem is a little bit irregular, and you've spent a little bit of time looking at it, and it looks like that. So that's the bottom of our stem, and the top of our stem is just a regular circle. So the next thing we want to do is roughly orientate these objects to the curve. So just by rotating them, we can get them close and moving them. So now it's going to go from this irregular shape to the circle shape while following this line. So you'll use the sweep 1 command, and first it'll ask for your rail, which is the profile curve. So you click rail, and then it'll ask you for your cross sections. So what you want to do, similar to when we were using the loft command, is you want to try and select your cross sections in the same spot both times, because it aligns those curves. And if they're not selected in the same spot, it could twist, and then you have to go back and align them. So just thinking about that, roughly trying to pick the same quad area. And then when it makes this curve, maybe this is the stem of a flower, and then you can use the loft command to make a leaf and a smaller stem, and it comes out of your vase or whatever you're trying to do.
You had a question too, right?
Oh, so I already did this a lot of the time, but I couldn't figure out when you hide something, how do you bring it back? It's not necessarily like one layer that you're hiding.
Yeah. So if you've used the hide command, so what I do is I have everything on all these different layers, but all I want to do is just make this stem. You hide everything, and now everything's gone. If you type show, everything will show up. But you got to make sure that your layers are still on. So if your layer's off, it's not going to show up. So you'll have to turn on your layer and then click show if it's hidden on a turned off layer. And so up here, that's where this button is useful, because you can hide objects, show objects, invert. So if you have something selected, it'll invert everything and hide just that. And then similar, you can swap hidden and visible. And then there's lock commands and a few other ones down there. Anyone else?
When you're done the box, how do you make those lines into a surface and the surface?
So do you want to put like a 2D texture on the surface, or you want to make you want to have like so you want to make like a rock, or do you just want to have like a wavy box? Okay, so if you make a box and you extrude it, what it's going to do is it's just going to give you a regular box. So there's two kind of ways you can do that. You could turn the points on, and then you could manipulate. So if it's a surface, you'll have to use solid points, and you could select this point, and you could move it around, and you could get something like that. If you know that your box has just one shift in it, you could just copy and paste them, and this, you know, the middle is kind of just misstepped. You can lock these together, and so there's multiple options you can do. This is the loose style, so it'll roughly follow. There's normal, which will make sure it touches all of them, but it's still smooth. There's tight. So these are kind of just giving you different options. Straight sections will make sure it's all angular. So there's just a bunch of different options you can go through to make it work. And then if you click close lock here, that's not what you want. If you click OK, so you have this, and then you know that these two bottom curves are planar, so you can just type cap on this object and it'll become a solid surface.
And I would say that I think it's worth, when you're modeling something, to kind of keep thinking between 2D and 3D. So think about your object, and what if you drew a plan of it? What if you took a section? Like, how could you actually represent it in 2D? And like in this case, you can take a box and take a series of basically plans or horizontal sections, and then do you want to, you know, draw those sections and then lock them together, as opposed to like manipulating a 3D form kind of by hand. So I would always think about the kind of best way to get at the geometry that you want.
Yeah, I think for Wednesday at least, because there's not too much time to experiment, it would be good if you kind of just had a rough sketch, at least in your mind, of exactly how you wanted everything to look, and then you have a goal to work against, or else you can spend a ton of time just going through options and trying different drawing styles and trying different angles, just seeing what you like. And if you have time, that's good, and later you'll really want to experiment with those, but being on a tight timeline, it's good just to have an idea in your mind of how you want to represent this space, and then just going for it.
And I just want to say about the assignment that by no means does the fact that we are asking you to have an intention, I hope that's not an added difficulty. I hope that can be kind of, again, something to work towards. But I think what's important is to, you know, be learning these tools and experimenting. So I don't think that there will be like a wrong way to do this assignment for Wednesday. It's more about just getting control over the tool, so you will be able to know how to use it for the things you want to use it for, as opposed to just, you know, doing stuff with the tools. So I think we can spend the rest of class just fielding your individual questions. If you guys have any.
Walk around.
Yeah, so we'll just walk around.
So I'm just gonna save this and upload it to the Dropbox with all these kind of little experiments on it, and then you guys can look through them if you want. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, so you can copy it. Yeah. Yeah, so you can go back, it just gets a bit complicated. So in the future, always make sure you copy it before you do this. But so one way you can get out of this is just by doing the reverse. So you need to look at it from your side viewport, and you need to shear it minus 45 degrees. So if you select this and you type shear, and I think you want to select it from this point, and then you want to do 45, then it'll go back that way, and then you want to click rotate from this point, and your reference point is here, and you want to do 30. You want to do, oh, I don't, you just want to do, get back to zero. How do you go? Let's, so you want to rotate, and you can, and you want to rotate it at this point, and use this as your reference, and just go back to forward. And so now you have a path that you want, and you can copy it if you need to. Yeah. Well, you're gonna have a scale here, and then you're gonna have maybe every object in that. So like, I would assume so like you can kind of play with your representation. So think about maybe the stool is exaggerated. So, oh, I see. So the best way to do this is to draw a rectangle. Is to draw so what you want to do is draw a rectangle the same size as this, and then just boolean out. So one thing you can do is oh, I see. You just want to is it a door? So this is totally a representation, right? So this is how your door works. We can't see it from the outside. So one thing you might want to do is fully split and have a line down here just so it looks like two buildings. And then you can use Boolean difference to get rid of this. So just draw a rectangle here. Also, why is it at a angle? So something that's going to make this a lot easier is if you rotate the model. You don't need circle, which isn't valid. So now that it's rectilinear, you'll be able to draw. So turn this on. So I just exploded it, and then there's that interface. So now it's all apart. So you just want if you want to change it really easily, you can install it point on, and then you can grab the corners here, the corners you want to make bigger, and just move them. So I could grab like this corner, 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 and I can pull it out, or I can grab the outside ones and pull them, or move them, and like. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, and you just find a creative way to kind of to maybe something perspective or something like yeah, or maybe thicker liners or something. Yeah. Yeah, like it'd be nice if there was like an I couldn't notice that, and then we're like, here,
Oh,
Because you don't really change every, you can just show like two lines. Yeah. Yeah. But because black is bigger, you would see both the line, right? Like right now, you only see this part. Like black, you would see the line behind it too. So you can just change the opacity of it. I don't know where it is on under the this material. Oh, you know what? If you put in properties, here, and add them. Is this the one that
I exploded it, and then
are
I
you
put
doing
it
the
in here,
third?
it's at 1/3.
And
So it looks close,
yeah,
but for some
yeah.
reason there's a bit of overlap somewhere. So the easy way, or one way, sort of test it overlapping is to explode it again.
Oh, that's fine.
And then and
uh,
like join each segment of second circuit.
Yeah, I mean
And
that.
then it'll tell you,
I mean,
let me show you.
yeah.
I'm very happy to see.
Because you don't have any material.
So here you have 2/3. See that?
Oh, here.
So
So one of these was not.
Oh,
it's not really out of what. This is what I have. So yeah. Oh, you remember that? Yeah, the other day. That could have just been that one spot. You don't know to start any type of figure.
So that's probably what you want to do.
But I guess I've been thinking about so the main
Join all of these
and
different layers.
they run three scales. Probably the next I mean, medium scale is probably one small scale is
So you're
oh,
all around that
like let's say
one
you
line
do
here.
overlapping.
Yeah.
So yeah, it follows that. It's
Yeah,
kind
I
of
mean,
bigger, but it's
so
on
small
top
scale,
of
small scale, things just all at the same time.
and so like
I'm not sure
I
if
don't know
it's
how
the
you
scale.
want to zoom into all of that. Like you could
So
always
they have three scales.
Yeah, but the scale.
Oh, that's so I mean,
Could.
yeah, I was thinking about
I'll have yours.
I'll make this.
so
Oh,
and actually the
yeah,
the
it's just
circles
but
it
it
really
really
matches
shows
this
like
one. But these lines like this is here. So what you kind of do
Yeah, it's kind of like if you're showing it at the scale of the root, you won't be
what I would do is
there's more. That's why you need to
I know, probably it's more medium.
and then I would
yeah.
screw these back just a little bit. And then
Are they having a meeting?
I saw
Oh yeah, maybe.
Or was that?
see how it's like
No, I think with this. Okay. So you would do it, I would do it the same way that Stuart did the vase. Okay. So okay, move this one around the yeah, so you would draw it in plan. So you would have this one. Yeah, and then you would instead of look at this. Well I can do this better. So and the tutorial is at 5:30, right?
you want to
What did I say? I think
At
five.
5
Five,
So I
yeah.
can do this
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
a lot of students were a little confused about what their meeting
Yeah, sure.
clarification.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, one or two sheets, like however you want to scale. Yeah.